BB Nest here, and we have just completed. We completed door 2. I am extremely disappointed, and I feel like the victims there were the two ladies, Pauline and the girl with white hair. I was so disappointed. Oh my god, the villagers didn't have to kill the girl in white hair. They could have held her hostage. They see what they could have done: hold her hostage and make the beast commit seppuku. Since apparently that's what he was good at. He had samurai blood in his veins, and he had no problems helping somebody who was innocent commit it. And that would have solved the whole village's problems. But no, we took it to the extremes, and he killed one of my favorite characters. Gosh friggin' dang it. I was rooting for her, I really was. But nevertheless, we are here. Door 3. Let's get it. Oh, what is the title of that? Look at the very bottom. Pig Iron Manor. Oh, I can already tell where this is going. There's gonna be murders involving a cleaver, bodies hanging from the ceiling kind of deal. Ah, man. Just don't kill off any of my favorite characters and we're good. The girl in white hair already kind of died, so... I mean, I'll be on that hard copium and say she's still alive, since she has survived for a very long time, but... it's still not comforting. Third door. 1869. Wow. Time sure is progressing a lot faster than I thought. Hey. Let's go. Okay. I can get behind this. I can really get behind this music. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm a sucker for music. Oh. I'm a sucker for music. Have mercy. Oh man. Let's see. One second here. Writing back to someone, I'm sorry. Not gonna lie though, I could keep this music going. Okay, stop. I also hold in my hand a can of V8 energy because, yes, I guess this is a good idea. That era was a rat race of innovation and development. Oh, look, a pool table. The smoke was so thick you could hardly see more than a few feet ahead of you. I could compare it to a dense morning fog, but that might give the impression of beauty, and of that there was little to be found in this haze. Do you see the silhouettes of several men in the smoky room? The one in the middle, the one looking in your direction, master, was the present master of the house. Yo. My guy. What's good? Jacopo. His name was Jacopo. And though he dressed in such fine attire, I sincerely doubt he understood how splendid the furnishings left in the mansion truly were. I am a faithful servant of this house, and I would not, for the life of me, dare speak ill of my master. Are you gonna do it anyways? However, this is a time long past. I imagine God would be so kind as to turn a blind eye to a little bit of honesty. I do it. I was not terribly fond of my master back then. Let's go. He had wavy hair the color of over-dried tea leaves, a piercing gaze, an arrogant smile, and he wore a hat that made him look rather haughty. Ugh. I mean, yeah. I can imagine the way this guy walks around. It's like, nobody can mess with me kind of vibe. Boy, better get off that high horse. He put his trust only in money, renown, and rank. He loved only the iron and steel that had revolutionized so many industries. He had not the slightest bit of love or care for other people. Oh well, we call those kinds of people in the modern century douchebags. At the very least, that is what I believed at the time. Take a look around the room, master. Jacopo had remodeled it into a recreation area. A billiards table sat in the center of the room, and the downward-facing lights hanging from the ceiling were special made. The light shone upon the dark green stand like a stage. Cigars and bourbon-lined glass cases installed in the place of bookshelves. Oh, the nerve of this guy, taking away the culture. The cases were always fully stocked, their contents available to partake of readily. At that particular moment, he had many times before, Jacopo had invited several friends and acquaintances, and they were entertaining themselves. His wealthy, high-ranking acquaintances had a variety of hair colors, from polished brass to the brown of a baby robin to the color of sunburnt wheat. There was also much greater variation in skin tone compared to the visitors and residents of previous eras. But that was hardly any surprise, for the mansion sat upon land inhabited largely by immigrants, the New World. What's the matter? What are you looking at? Nothing. I just thought I heard someone say my name. Ain't no one there unless you're seeing a ghost. I don't believe in such nonsense. I gotta sound like... Hold up, I gotta get my arrogant side out. It's an old house with a long history. Wouldn't be surprised if it had a ghost or two. But if the place gonna be haunted, I'd take a princess over a bloody broad any day. A princess, eh? And when she showed up, you'd have your way with this ghost lady, am I right? Yeah, right. Okay. Color me impressed, son. You jump her bones and she don't even got any to jump. Come on, guys. Come on now, that's hardly fair. Not much you can even do with the ghost. My god, are you men or children? This is my house, and I would rather you didn't talk about it like that. Just the blatherings of a couple of drunks, pretending you didn't hear none. For the love of God. In any event, whatever happened to that printer you invested in? I haven't heard their name come up in some time. Can we please avoid that topic? It's been quite the headache for me. I thought it'd pay off, but it always sounded sketchy to me. I'd recommend you pull out unless you want to find yourself with nothing left but a nice fat pile of debt. You could have mentioned that beforehand. This is killing me. The men's deep voices. Okay, I'll try better next time. The men's deep voices resonated in the cloudy room as they imbibed alcohol and puffed on their cigars. They conversed mostly about business and money. Jacopo and the rest of the men were a breed known as investors. You might also call them tacticians. I don't know about that. They survived on information attained before anyone else by making swift decisions and having foresight. Though instead of flesh and bone, their soldiers were made of ink and paper. To an outsider, this meeting might appear to be a congregation of friends, but in reality, they were observing one another, gathering information and anything else they could use to get ahead. At times, money and information were exchanged directly, and when they were no longer of financial value to one another, their relationship would pop. But you know, Jacopo, you came finished. It'll get finished. And even if they do connect the tracks, will it really be in shape for people to ride? It's a pipe dream, this transcontinental railroad of yours. Jacopo went silent, but I am certain this is what was going through his head. Sorry. You're a bunch of damned imbeciles if you can't see that the entire country's put their weight behind this endeavor. This is why you have so much trouble making even a few thousand. Damn, relax. At the time, a great railway was being built across the breadth of the continent. Construction was spearheaded by two large rail companies in competition for both prestige and a bigger share of this massive national empire. The Union Pacific Railroad Company started building from the east and the Central Pacific Railroad Company from the west, but government bonds alone were not enough to finance the massive undertaking. By the way, there have been some less than pleasant reports about workers dying on the job for the company you chose, Central Pacific. Ah, you mean how they're using explosives to blast through the mountains. Making quite a bang they are. But if this gets to be much bigger of a fix, they're not going to be able to continue construction. You should at least put your money in the more sure bet of the two, the Union Pacific. It'll cost you to hire replacement workers, and if they keep kicking the bucket, you're going to have trouble finding more. My goodness. And here I thought you all had spines. You think we're gonna run out of workers just because of you waited? Huh, there's so many we don't even know what to do with them all. There's not a chance that well will dry up. And if by some chance it does, all we have to do is buy up a ship full of blacks or yellows. Jesus. What? You won't get anywhere if you spent your time worrying about a few measly laborers. Wait, was this the time of slave owners? You mentioned blacks and yellows. This is an endeavor backed by the entire nation. Their deaths are honorable in service of their country. The biggest loss is not of people's lives, but of time. The longer a profit we make. What we seek is rapid progress, even if the methods to obtain it are messy or deadly. Jacopo's distasteful choice of words. Do you agree with this way of thinking, Master? Well, he does have a point to a certain extent, but I'm sure there's other methods to go about doing it. Could be just me though. I don't know. I haven't really been a big fan of snobs like that. And it is true that the tragedy often lies in the shadows of the splendor of times long past. Furthermore, the way people see the world changes with the times, so I hesitate to criticize him too severely. Now, as I am sure you've already picked up on, he was an investor who had put money into a railroad company. He also possessed several crude oil refineries, riding on the world's second wave of industrial development. The mansion's too bustled with life in a way it never had before. Dozens of maids, including me, gardeners, chefs, sculptors, artists. At times, we even had writers coming in and out of the house. There was rarely a moment of silence. However, I was not terribly fond of the hustle and bustle personally, but please do not get me wrong, I am hardly opposed to the mansion being cheerful. It was just, how should I put it? The splendor of the time seemed superficial, heartless. It was as though everyone was being rushed along by some unknown invisible force. Part of it was, I expect, caused by the growing divide between those standing at the top and sitting at the bottom, or perhaps the mansion was simply taking after its master. There is no time to waste. Everything is resting upon the success of this project. Whatever it takes, I will ensure it happens. I need more money and more power. Oh man. I need more money and power. You know, that was... This already sounds bad. I can already tell where this is going. Maybe. From beyond the door came a woman's voice, gentle as a soft spring breeze. Pardon me, I have made some tea. May I offer anyone a cup? Girl in white hair. No, please. Please tell me you're the same one. It was indeed her. Are you surprised? Or did you anticipate her appearance? Though she was not the same age and dressed differently, the white-haired girl, whom you saw fall into the hands of misfortune in the era of roses and the era of the beast, was also present in this era of innovation. Furthermore, she was Jacopo's wife. Filthy. Tea? I don't recall asking for that. When were you asked to make it? I wasn't, but I had these leaves with the most wonderful aroma, and I thought you might enjoy. Shut your trap and know your place. What do you think we have all these maids for? Oh my... Alright. I don't like him anymore. Well, I never liked him in the first place. Cut him off. Somebody. Anyone. Hey now, no need to treat your lady like that. She was just trying to be courteous. These are my personal affairs. Please keep your comments to yourself. His friends were unsure how to react, but ultimately, nobody stepped up to stop Jacopo. They merely shrugged, tossing glances at one another. Jacopo stomped over to the white-haired girl. He grabbed her by the arm and dragged her from the den. What the heck, dude? What the hell do you think you're doing? I've told you time and time again to stay away from that room unless absolutely necessary. I'm sorry, but, I made tea and really feel so bad. Don't go in there in the first place. Get the hell back to your room. I meant no harm. It's just, I'm your wife. I thought it would be nice if I could do something. Like I've told you, that's not your job. Don't show yourself in front of the other men. I have nothing else to say to you. Got it? Now scram. Sakes alive. First them, now you. It's driving me up the wall. What is it? I told you to get out of here. Right, but, what? When will you spend time with me next? Oh, jeez. It has been some time since we last went out together. But we don't even have to go out. Just having dinner together will... How many times are you gonna make me repeat myself, you worthless tramp? Are those ears only for show? Go back to your goddamn room. My apologies. Looking utterly downtrodden, the white-haired girl made her departure. Such a piteous sight she was. As he watched her go, Jacopo merely snorted. Just thinking about the way he behaved then angers me. You're not the only one. You were not the only one. You know, if this was an anime, if I didn't know any better, this kind of person later on would beg for his life. But nobody would spare him, just because he's such a massive douchebag. Like, jeez. Who treats their woman like that? Absolutely disgusting. I have little fondness for men who do not treat their spouses with respect. So as you can see, the white-haired girl was in hardly a joyous situation. She was devoted to Jacopo and tried to do whatever she could for him, but he not only brushed her aside, he did so in an insulting, deliberately hurtful manner. They were far from picturesque partners. Do you wonder then, master, why she married him? I do wonder. Oh boy. The answer to that question will come to light in time. For now, let us follow her. That poor girl, come on, dude. She doesn't deserve that. Looking down dejectedly at the undrunken tea, the white-haired girl walked alone down the corridor. Though its calming scent filled the air, there was nobody around to have their heart warmed by it. Nor was there anyone to alleviate her loneliness. Despite being the master's wife, the maids who crossed her path in the halls said nary a word to her. Jeez. As a matter of fact... Oh no. Oh, come on. Come on, dude. Oh dear, I beg your pardon, ma'am. It's fine. One even bumped into her, stifling a laugh as she trotted off. In all likelihood, she had done it intentionally. The poor white-haired girl, who had fallen to the floor, stared helplessly at the broken cups. The tea she had made for her husband was forming a stain in the carpet. The maid's behavior towards the mistress of the house was absolutely unacceptable. Nonetheless, it was commonplace, all because of the way Jacopo treated her. The more the man of the house acted cruel to her, the less weight her position as his wife held to the servants. Day in and day out, the maids worked busily, offered a little opportunity for leisure, so they would naturally have accumulated quite a bit of stress, and she became the target for them to let off this steam. Not directly, but through a more subdued kind of harassment from the shadows. She must have felt quite miserable. I imagine she would have been better off as one of the maids. On the surface and in front of others, they showed respect for her as Jacopo's bride, but behind closed doors, they acted very much the opposite. The disparity between the treatment she received around the others, the treatment she was supposed to receive at all times, and the way she was actually treated made the abuse that much worse. And furthermore, as you have seen through the other doors, master, she was a very reserved young woman. She could neither raise her voice in reprimand, nor raise her hand in retaliation. I have to get this cleaned up. She extended her spindly fingers towards the shards of shattered porcelain. But even the broken cups seemed to have no concern to spare for her. Its shattered edge cut her fingertip when she made to pick it up. A trickle of warm red blood ran across her unearthly white skin. As painful a sight as it was, it had a sort of taboo beauty to it. The blood spilling from her fingers showed no sign of slowing down. She clenched her hand into a fist, let out a sigh, and went back to collecting the shards of porcelain. But when she did... Madam, what's the matter? Madam, you're bleeding. While all the other maids ignored her, one came running over, shouting to the white-haired girl's side. We need to get that cleaned and bandaged up. Oh, you don't need to pick that up. That's not your job, madam. It's alright, Maria. There's not much to pick up. It is not at all alright. And the rest of you, why are you just standing there? Your boss's wife is on her hands and knees, and you're not even lifting a finger to help her? You disgust me. Maria, it's fine, really. Oh, madam. If you weren't so timid, this wouldn't happen. You're allowed to yell at them, you know. It's alright, really. It's my fault. No, it's not. The other maid bumped into you. Why are you doing this? Don't be like this. Anyway, we should get that finger taken care of. Let's get you back to your room, Kay? But the broken cups and the spill. As I said, that's the maid's work. Now come on, let's go. Okay. And the rest of you, get this mess cleaned up. She roared like the wind in a thunderstorm. The other maids stood there dumbfounded, watching as she and the white-haired girl disappeared down the hall. But they were soon frowning and grumbling to one another. She thinks she can act all high and mighty just because the master is fond of her. Oh. Is he two-timing her? Is he cheating on the white-haired girl for Maria? Oh, brother. The woman's name was Maria. She was one of the maids. And she was the one person in the mansion the white-haired girl could think of as an ally. Though her husband paid her no mind, and the maids made her life miserable, just one person, Maria, treated her with respect and kindness. And I am sure you can readily imagine just how much of a lifesaver that was for her. I, too, found myself somewhat relieved that Maria was there for her. Being a servant of this house, I was also one of the maids working there at the time. However, I was unable to invoke myself to any great degree in her fate. This meant that there was little I could do to assist her, even in times of pain and unpleasantness. The best I could do was pray that Maria would continue to lend the white-haired girl her hand. And that does it. Thank you, Maria. You're always such a big help. Oh no, no need to thank me. I just did what any good maid should do. No one else is in the room, you know. Oh, right. Then I can drop the act? Man, I just can't get used to talking all stuffy. I'm out there doing my best, but the head maid's still spouting stuff like, your manner of speaking is improper for a servant. Every single time we meet. Yeesh, come on, just shove it, would ya? You're damn creepy. Her character changed, holy cow. Now, you mustn't speak ill of her like that. Sorry, slip of the tongue. She just kinda gives me the willies, you know. Speaking of, you dropped this stuffy talk too, madam. Kinda awkward if only one of us is acting casual, you know? This is normal for me. If I attempted to talk like you, I would freeze up out of nervousness. This is my casual. Fair enough. Guess that's what happens when you're raised well. I like it though. Has a very regal feel about it. I don't think my upbringing is the only factor. But you know, upbringing is important. Worth a whole lot more than money, I'd say. I suppose. Thank you, Maria. You're always so compassionate. You betcha. They don't call me the Virgin Mary for nothing. I practically bleed compassion. You know, that might be true. You very well could be the reincarnation of the Mother of God. No. You were supposed to laugh at that. It's just embarrassing if you take it seriously. Alone in the white-haired girl's room, Maria was acting much more friendly and relaxed as they conversed, as opposed to her no-nonsense attitude in the hallway. The two women were, as you can see, quite close. They had crossed over the wall, separating master from servant, and built a bond of friendship. And at some point, they had begun to speak frankly with one another when no one else was around. Maria was the only person in the mansion around whom the white-haired girl felt comfortable being open. I imagine she very much enjoyed these moments of conversation. You wish to know who the head maid was? My. Are you sure you want to ask me that, master? Some questions are better left unasked, for your own good. I have to say, madam, you have the prettiest fingers. Mine are all rough, dry, and nasty. You think so? Mine haven't the slightest bit of muscle. Not about as frail as dead branches. Oh, who needs beefy mitts anyways? I still think healthy-looking hands like yours are far more attractive. What? What's to like about these things? Women all over the world dream of having hands like yours. Slender, feminine, and perfectly cared for. I don't know, just looking at them lights a fire in my loins. It makes me want to lick every last one of them. Yeah, licking fingers. What is this? Actually, say, can I? What is this? I can't. Hey, fellow maid, can I lick your fingers? Oh, friggin' heck. What is this? Please don't go there. Don't do this. Can I run my tongue up and down all 10 of those sweet little digits? Come on, can I? What do you say? Nobody's looking. God. Stop that, Maria. Seriously. Yeah, please. Don't go there. Are you, though? Are you really kidding? Somewhere deep in your mind, you thought this is a good idea. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh, Maria. Ah, right. How did those tea leaves turn out, madam? The ones you imported. All the maids just adore it. They can't get enough of that aroma. I'd sure like to get a taste of it. If you, end up with extra, you think you could spare a sip for me? That was, what was in the cups I dropped? What? Really? Well, ain't that a crying shame? And Jacopo wouldn't have any of it? Mood. God, why does that man have such a stick up his ass? You went through all the trouble of making it for him, and he was busy. It's not his fault. You're such a punching bag. Don't do this. Come on. Busy? You mean playing billiards, drinking bourbon, and puffing a damn cigar? It may look to us like they're just making small talk, but I'm certain their meeting has some importance to their business. It was imprudent of me to try and step into the men's world. That's just not right. I mean, you're his wife. Why shouldn't you be allowed in the room? It doesn't bother me. It should. It really should. You don't have to pretend. It does bother you. Here's an idea. How would you like to have some of that tea now? We also have some orange marmalade, which you like so much. Add a scoop of that and a tray of cookies, and we have the perfect tea time. You're singing the siren song, madam. But you really shouldn't be doing that with him. Jeez, I can't read. He would not have tea. I suspect he does not like it. I don't want it to go to waste, so... Madam, I know it's none of my business, and I have no place at all saying this, but... It's not impossible for a woman to file a divorce these days. Ooh. Ooh. I really hope there aren't cameras in here. You'd have to sit down and take it. Not one bit. You're pretty, well-educated, and still young. There's hope even if you do leave him. There are plenty of other men out there. You aren't obligated to stick with that arrogant jerk. He's just very busy right now. There you go again. Then he was a little awkward, but a kind man. Him? A kind man? Yes, believe it or not, there was indeed a time. Say, Mario, would you mind giving me a little bit more of your time? I'll make some tea and we can talk. Alright. If you're telling me about when Jacopo was decent, I'm all ears. Indeed. I am also interested. But geez, you cannot look any more sadder. As I am sure you are aware, our parents arranged our marriage. Before I emigrated to this country to be married, I lived in a misty island nation. Portraits of my ancestors hung at the house where I lived. I remember as a child wincing in fear at the sight of them staring down at me. My mother and father were constantly telling me to show them respect, as it was their hard work that kept our bloodline alive and well. However, They were fighting an uphill battle to do the same. It would have been clear to anyone reasonably perceptive that our house was coming tumbling down. Valuable furniture and paintings slowly disappeared, and eventually the portraits were gone too. As our house collapsed, so too did my parents' health deteriorate, robbing us of any source of income. And though I was educated, I lacked the skills necessary to obtain work. Just as we were about to run out of money and options, my parents received Jacopo's parents' marriage proposition. Both of our families stood to benefit from the arrangement. I had social status, and he had wealth. We each had what the other lacked. One needs more than money to make it in the world. With that at least semi-reputable name attached to you, you're liable to get laughed out of most social gatherings. I first met Jacopo here, in this country. We didn't even know what the other looked like until our wedding day. Ooh. That's kind of weird. That's kind of tough. Not knowing what your marriage partner looks like. Have mercy. To be quite honest, I was scared to death at first. I was so nervous. What kind of man would he be? Was I to wed some middle-aged stranger? We were not married because we had fallen in love like a normal couple. I knew I was in no position to be concerned with such things, but when I thought about our future, I shook with fear. But the man I saw through my veil at the wedding was remarkable. He was young, had strong, masculine eyes, and at the same time, he too appeared nervous. He was shaking as much, no, even more than me. Seeing that, the priest gave an impish little smirk when he asked Jacopo if he vowed his eternal love to me. I counted myself among the happy, and I still do, for in that moment I experienced true love. You want to hear about when he was kind to me? We were given a week to ourselves. I suppose you could call it a honeymoon, though we didn't take a trip overseas, or even go very far at all. He looked at me with uncertainty and asked, "Where would you like to go?" "I beg your pardon? That's what this week is for, right? I'll consider granting your request, so tell me where you want to go." This is all so sudden." Nothing? Well, this whole engagement was spur of the moment. Normally we would have planned a trip in advance, but unfortunately our purpose is served so long as we act apart. You must be disappointed that you have to plan your honeymoon as it's happening. No, what? Speak clearly. I don't like it when people don't speak their minds. Jeez. This is nice. Have mercy, you literally just met this woman. I'm sorry, but I'm happy. Even if this is a political marriage. Well, you're quite the positive thinker. Your parents say something to make you think that way? Well, either way, if you're so glad to be in this arrangement, then hurry up and decide on the destination. Though there is a limit to how far we can go. If you want to take a trip, I'll consider it. What, is something funny? It just seemed comical to me that our honeymoon had begun and we're only now deciding where we want to go. Not in a bad way, though. I'm glad our parents didn't arrange everything for us. Perhaps you've heard, but I'm quite sensitive to sunlight and not in the best of health. So it would be rather trying for me to spend a full week out of the house. We couldn't go on a trip, but if it's not too much trouble, speak up. Could you show me around town? I'm new to this country and unfamiliar with its customs, and I'm rather afraid to go wandering about on my own. Show you around. Yes. Would that be possible? On a rare bit of time off, you asked me to show you around town? Is that really the most exciting idea you have? I'm sorry. If there's somewhere you would like to go, I am fine with that. I will accompany you anywhere. As if I could drag someone who just professed to being sickly all over the country. My God, I've lost all interest in the trip. I'm still waiting for the time to when he was nice. Have mercy. Hello? What are you doing? Go get ready, now. I beg your pardon? Didn't you want to see the town? You will show me around? You're the one who asked. Not like I have any other options, so yeah, I'll show you around. Thank you. Don't just stand there, you dullard. Get a move on. One moment. Wait for me, please. When was he nice? I hope this isn't her idea of him being nice. He hurriedly climbed into the carriage he had called for, a look of frustrated displeasure on his face. And then, as if he had forgotten about me until that moment, he returned, grabbed me by the arm, and led me to the carriage. In retrospect, I realized he was not being very gentlemanly, but I was pleased that he was making any attempt to interact with me at all. Have mercy. As the carriage trotted down the streets, I saw so many new things. I had spent most of my time cooped up inside at home, so it was like stepping into an entirely new world. And add to that the rapid industrial advancement currently taking place. I saw men shouting back and forth as they smacked newspaper articles with the back of their hands. I saw corner cafes crowded with cigar-smoking men on break from work. It was like the hustle and bustle of a festival, but every festival has its underside. I also saw overworked men looking like they were on the verge of collapse, drinking water from a spigot on the side of the road. By way of contrast, I wore fine clothing and had a carriage at my disposal. I imagine every day was a struggle for them just to remain afloat. Had I not married the man I too might have found myself on the streets in a similar situation. But it was not relief that spread through my breast at the sight of them. It was pangs of guilt. For me, it felt to me like a life of opulence was wrong, sinful. It broke my heart to know that I was living so much better than them. Jacopo nodded disapprovingly at me, seemingly readying my mind, and then said, "The poor man who envies the rich, covets his wealth, and finds the ambition to make the same for himself. And the rich man who pities the poor, thinking it is his duty to give them offerings of philanthropy. To me, the latter is far more nefarious. Excessive charity will ruin a man, make him come to expect handouts." Yeah, you do have a point. And then there are those with the wrong idea of pity, who let themselves fall down to the same place, mistakenly believing it will somehow make the poor feel better. What a joke. If you're going to do anything for them, you might as well encourage them to climb upward, spur on economic growth and the flow of capital. Doesn't that sound like the better option? God, freaking this motherfucker. It is, but I just hate how he's right. You can't just spoon feed people, because again, they'll expect so much out of you. He had a point. My sympathy and guilt meant nothing to people actually experiencing hardship. If feeling guilty of my own fortune, I acted upon that pity in the way he had described, it would accomplish little more than self-satisfaction. He seemed to have seen straight through to my very core. This was a man who built his own fortune, though, through investment, which I imagine required him to be rather astute. But does in a world where everyone is constantly trying to climb higher and higher sound rather exhausting? I, personally, would prefer to be in a position where I could watch, if only from a distance, as others climbed. But obviously I could not say as much to him. Some time later, the carriage came to a stop in front of a shop. As I looked at the building perplexedly, he gestured to the door with his chin, signaling for me to get out. Lost and confused, I stepped down from the carriage, and before me spread a showcase behind a large glass window. However, lined up in the vase were not precious metals or expensive clothing, but machines. At first, I had no idea what kind of devices these were. Have you never had your photo taken before? No, I have had a portrait painted though. Are these machines for taking photographs? A portrait, eh? Why am I not surprised? I did not mean to boast. Go on, get in. Please, wait for me. Oh, jeez. Out here always rushing her. The owner came out to greet us with a wide smile as we entered the shop. Well, if it ain't the strangest thing I've seen all day. You, bringing a lady, and a real looker at that. Where on earth do you catch this pretty little thing? She's my wife. Huh? Well, I beg your pardon. I'll be a monkey's uncle. What? Just goes to show, you never know where the cards may fall. Make it sound like my getting married is some kind of miracle. Well, not to be the one to rain on your parade, Jacopo, but you definitely don't seem like the kind of guy to strike too many women. I'm just saying, you sound like a douchebag, dude. I always saw you as one to choose money over love, sir. Oh, pardon me, this isn't appropriate to say in front of your wife. Yep. Do you often come to this shop? On occasion. I need some things here from time to time. I see. There you go, smirking again. What's so funny? We're going to have a photo taken, yes? I'm so nervous and excited. I've never had one before. And to have it taken side by side with you. What are you talking about? Pardon? We said we were getting our pictures taken. And side by side? Please. You're sending shivers down my spine. But this is a photography shop. Hey, shopkeep. The product I contacted you about. Is it ready? Oh, yep. Sit tight. I'll be right out. You take a seat. There's a chair over there. What? I'm going to show you something much more exciting than sitting still and waiting in front of a camera, Len. Oh? Just do as I say. Okay. Jeez. I hate this guy so much, I swear. I can't stand this guy. I really can't. I sat down in front of a large mirror, which I presume was normally used to check your appearance before having your picture taken. Sitting before a mirror with someone else present was quite nerve-wracking. Out of embarrassment, I dropped my gaze to my knees, but when Jacopo returned, I was entranced by the curious object in his hands. Oh. She looks so adorable, come on. Why is he so mean to her? What is this? Do you know what persistence of vision is? The human eye does not perceive the world 100% accurately. This is especially true for objects in motion. It remembers images for a short time, so if you put a new image in the same place, your eye perceives it as in motion. Seeing for yourself would be faster than explaining it. You see the slits in the disc? Look through the bottom one and into the mirror. Okay. Good. Just like that. Bring your head in close. Here goes. Standing behind me, he slid his finger across the top of the peculiar toy, causing it to spin gracefully, and then... Ah. So, what do you see? They're dancing. A man and a woman are dancing. Sounds like you're not having any trouble seeing it. Are they dancing well? Yes, they are. It's the most adorable thing. What? Adorable? That's funny. I asked to have it modeled after a ballroom dance. Yes, it's a very elegant dance. But you see, they're small like little dwarves, which I thought was kind of cute. And they seem to be close, going around and around without ever letting go of each other's hands. This is incredible. Why does it look like they're dancing? They were all lined up in a row a few moments ago. Goodness, I just explained that to you. It's playing a trick on your eyes. What you're seeing is lots of images in a short period of time. To put it in words you might understand better, it's an illusion. Your eyes are being fooled into thinking the image is moving. An illusion. But they're dancing. They really are. And they look like they're having a wonderful time. Are you sure it's an illusion and not something else? To me, it does not seem to be. I cannot see it as anything but two tiny people dancing. That's how it works. Reach out your hand and try to grab them. You won't be able to. Ah, you're right. That's a shame. I didn't think you actually would. But it's the most precious thing. They look as though they're dancing atop my palm. I was mesmerized by the strange phenomenon. Pictures were moving, after all. Still images had begun dancing before me. It was almost as if God had breathed life into them. He had called it an illusion, but I could not grasp that. It was such an adorable, heartwarming sight. I imagined the two were off living in some other world, separate from our own. They looked so happy. I was almost certain that they were off dancing in their joyous world, free from all the sorrow and loneliness and pain of this one. Eventually, the speed at which they danced began to slow, as if they were resting their legs. I almost thought I could hear the sound of their feet with each step. Ah, they've stopped. They can dance forever. They don't get tired. I see. I'm amazed such an incredible device exists in this world. It makes me wish I had gone outside sooner. I'm sure someone from as distinguished a house as yours has seen plenty of amazing things with your family. Hardly. I rarely ever left the house. I'm ignorant about the ways of the world. If you had not told me, I would have probably never known about moving pictures, the illusion of moving pictures. Do you like it? Yes, of course. More than the portrait you had painted? Yes, yes, I do. The painting was wonderful too, but you can't seem to make up your mind. Go on, tell me, which do you like better, the portrait or this? Ah, um, I like this better. I see. He looks somewhat pleased. Hmm. Though when it comes down to it, this is a simple trick only a child would fall for. Then I suppose that makes me a child. If it means I get to watch something as splendid as two tiny people dancing, I'll happily fall for the trick. Quit describing it as two tiny people dancing. You're going to lose your head that far up in the clouds. Oh, I'm sorry. I do not know how else to describe it though. It's a toy called a Phenakis. Oh, Jesus. Phenakistoscope. 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 Phenakis wheel. Same. Close enough. It was invented about 30 years ago. I had the shopkeep make one modeled after the original design. So the shop owner drew this? He did. A lot better than you'd expect, isn't he? Yes, indeed. I am surprised he could draw something so cute. Say that to his face and he'll go red as a beet. What I'd give to get a load of that. You should tell him the next time you see him. He is a sweet man. Despite how he looks at me, it's not right to judge people based on their appearance. Ah, I'm just kidding. Don't take it too seriously. The shopkeep here loves new technology. That fan wheel is one such invention that caught his eye. You can trick the eye into thinking drawings are moving. Using a sequence of photos, you can perhaps make it seem as though real people are moving too. And if it becomes possible to show these images to many people at once, these developments could broaden the options artists have to express themselves. Not drawings, but photographs. Yes, photos. By taking hundreds or perhaps thousands of photographs, it would be possible to reproduce the world as we see it. This room, people walking down the streets. There's no point in recording boring everyday life though. If you're gonna leave a record of anything behind, it should be the projects and enterprises that move nations. Say, for example, a moving record of the opening ceremony of the railroad. That would be something worth watching. And then, in time, it would expand beyond a mere record-keeping technology and find its way into the hands of artists. Is such a thing possible? You must remain still for a long time just to take a single photograph. Right now it isn't, but eventually it will be. And I'm not simply fantasizing here. Is that so? It sounds very futuristic. Do you... What? Do you want to support the people who work on that sort of thing? Is that why you are friends with the owner? It has nothing to do with my wants. I merely think there's money in it. The rich start for entertainment, and the artists create that entertainment. I have no interest in their pretentious self-expression. I just want their money. What? What's so funny? You look like you're enjoying it yourself. Honestly, it's just about the money. As you say. Alright, let's get moving. Next is dinner. What? We're leaving already? Does that displease you? No, not at all. To tell you the truth, I want to spend a little more time playing with the Phenakis wheel, but I cannot bring myself to say as such. Reluctantly, I approached the owner to return the wheel. Don't bother. Bring it with you. But if you don't want it, that's fine too. Just make your decision quickly. You're making the driver wait. Having said that, Jacopo exited the shop. I alternated between looking at his back and the Phenakis wheel, debating what I wanted to do. And then with a smile, the owner whispered to me, "You're allowed to keep it, really. Your husband out there had it made as a gift for you." For me, a little while back, he came to my shop asking if I could make a Phenakistoscope. Now that about knocked me out of my chair. He's a man who almost never asks for favors. He's pretty damn brusque, and he's got a tongue sharp enough to cut steel, but he's not wicked to his core, I swear it. I don't know about that. You still have to convince me. So please, man, be a pillar of support to him. The girl in white hair looks not uh, from the past stories has been nothing but support. To Mel, to that moment, the Fanakis wheel became a precious treasure to me. He had only just married days earlier, and yet he had commissioned it for me without even knowing what I looked like. I was filled with warm, pleasant elation. I agreed with the owner. Jacopo was not a bad man. He merely had difficulty expressing himself. Harry muttered, "Yeah." From there, we went to a restaurant for dinner. You call this a pizza? The crust is an atrocity. It's like I'm chewing on rubber. How can you wave my country's flag and not serve spaghetti? Do you have any shame at all? This wine is pitifully unbalanced. Far too high levels of acidity. Listen to me carefully. The house wine is the face of a restaurant. He complained about every little thing. It was a complete disaster. But curiously enough, I was not at all put off by his behavior. What do you mean? What do you mean? It's disgusting. Come on, girl. When the sun set, the carriage made its way to a nearby hill. The cool nighttime breeze felt wonderful on my skin. Flushed from the alcohol, and the light from the gas lamps had a comforting warmth to it. Though Jacopo had complained about the quality of the wine, once he had intoxicated himself, his mood improved visibly. Oh no. Please don't beat her. I beg of you. He's drunk. It made him unexpectedly talkative. Look out at the city. A gloomy town that shuts down at night isn't suited to expansion or growth, but this city isn't like that. You can see people walking beneath the lamps, and you can hear the bustle of them talking. This is a city that has plenty of room to grow. As they ride the rising wave of economy, many, many more people will gather here. More people means more money in circulation. More money in circulation means the city grows, companies are founded, and more goods are bought and sold. Will it really change so drastically? It can be difficult to see what's happening from the inside. The majority of people just go about their daily lives, and the next thing they know, things are different. No, I'd wager most don't notice the changes at all. Only those with eyes sharp enough to realize what's happening can see success. I cannot afford to overlook even the most minute change. Do you have a dream of some kind? A dream? I'm not sure if it's easy enough to attain to call a dream. Others might call it greed, or perhaps ambition. Don't laugh now. My intention is to make the world mine. You're shooting for the stars, good sir. Oh my goodness. The world. Yes, the world. And to do that, you need neither physical strength nor kindness, but money and influence. People have no choice but to kneel before those forces. Why are you so intent on obtaining power? Because I want to change my country, I imagine. Your country? You are aware that I, like you, am an immigrant, right? I emigrated from an island in the Mediterranean, though not the same island as you. My country is a peculiar place where candor and violence go hand in hand. As a whole, the country is on the poor side, and if nobody does anything about that, I am one of but a few of my fellow countrymen who has set his sights on the New World. They are falling behind other nations. If I find success here, perhaps that will catch their attention. But if it doesn't, then my country is doomed to collapse. You have much love for your homeland. My feelings are a little more complicated than mere love, but that's nothing you need to concern yourself with. Well, I'll have to remember not to get myself drunk around a woman again. Forget everything I just said. It's about time we head back to the house. Alright, but, what is it? Is it alright if I provide you encouragement as you try to attain your dream? I know my presence is more likely to be a hindrance, but I would like to be there to watch as you trek forward. Pillar of support. What a good wife, I swear. I suppose. Do as you wish. Thank you. You have my support then. Darling? Sent a shiver down my spine, though not an unpleasant one. Oh, please. I am glad to have you as my partner. Okay, so that's about the nicest thing he said. Everything else just reeks selfish. I was, without a doubt, happy then. His smile, the things he said, the fanatics feel he gave me, they were all undeniably real, and those memories give me the will to wait for the day things go back to the way they were. They allow me to believe. Interesting. Oh man. I okay, let me not. I have mixed feelings about this guy, I really do. Um it's hard to describe, but he does want to make things better. I feel like he's just doing the right thing the wrong no, he's not doing the right thing the wrong way. I don't know what it's called. It's it's complicated. This man is complicated, Jesus. Oh my god. Give me 1 second here. Ooh. Okay. Back on track. Nope, or maybe not. Oh, my screen is... My stream is not working. Hold up. This is something that actually happened to another maid. She heard a sound in the middle of the night. Okay, so there's no... there's no visual. God dang it. Oh my god. Speaking of freaking technology, please have mercy. Well, I suppose I'll call it quits for now. I'll probably... Maybe either later tonight or tomorrow. I don't know. Hard to say. But I shall stop it here. Thank you to all who tuned in. This guy's giving me mixed emotions. I don't know what to think of this guy. He probably has a good heart, but a rotten core. If that makes any sense. Like it's the like that one proverb about building a castle and building it with this foundation of sand versus of actual solid concrete. I don't know. I don't know. It's difficult to describe, but I feel like his foundation is wrong, but his heart is in the right place. It could be just me. But yeah. Thank you guys so much, and I will catch you all later.